A couple of weeks ago, I watched a video about a teacher talking about Generation Alpha, and there were loads of claims in there that I wanted to explore. Some of them I understood, some of them I didn't quite understand, and a couple that I was skeptical about. So I had a look around online. There were loads of other videos talking about it on YouTube, as well as on TikTok, and that seems to be where the conversation started towards the end of 2023. So what I want to do is show you my process of researching the video essay that will come out on the second channel, which I'll link in the description below, and how I did the research. And for those unfamiliar with Obsidian, this is Obsidian, and it's like a folder system. So all of my folders you can see here are on my computer, and then the files, which you can see open here, are showing in Obsidian, and I can edit them just like Word or any other text editor. But as you can see, I can have multiple tabs, so you can create a new tab, make a new file in there, and this is how I typically work, with 2 or 3 panes open with tabs. You can see I need to plan my shopping list in a minute, but I have all of these open. This is where I have lots of different projects in the past. This is a project inbox, so all of these files need to be linked somewhere. This is the same file open, so this file and this file are actually the exact same file. It's just this one is open like way down here, whereas this one's open right at the top. And this is a video project that I've redone, so I want to reorganize where they are inside of my main file. But if I go over to my outline and find teaching, you'll see there it is. And this is the research file that I used for the video essay. You can see there's a load of thumbnails that seem to do well, so doing some research on that. But I want to turn this into an article. And the reason I want to do that is because YouTube videos are great. You can see them on YouTube, you can search them on YouTube, you can put all the sources linked into the description in a doc or however, but research is ongoing, it's continuous, and my research into these different claims are in Obsidian. They're always in Obsidian, but my Obsidian isn't online. So what I want to do is share my research, share my thinking in an article on my website that I can update as things come out. So for example, with the Ofsted situation, I did a video about that, but there's been lots of updates since. And it's much easier for me to update an article with a couple of sentences or notifications than creating a whole new 2 or 3 minute video to update the last video, and you can't update a video. So that's my thinking for the research process. That basically means in Obsidian, I'll have a project file for when I did the video, then another file for the essay, so the article that I update regularly, and that's what I'm doing. So if I middle click with my mouse on this one, it'll open up as a new tab, and this is what I have at the moment. So I've started bringing in some links, and this is me literally just copy and pasting a link. This one is a status from Twitter, so if I open this up, of course I opened it up in my other screen, so this is what it was. This is a conversation talking about reading comprehension, and I'll read through the thread because I just saw this and thought, you know what, let's just read through the thread and see what they have to say and have a look at conversational points. And these are just articles I found. I've copied and pasted the link into Obsidian, and I've added the author, so the main author anyway, at the start. And then I've added a date if I could find a date when it was published to see what was going on. Obviously, this one is 2019, and this conversation happened in 2023. So this, I know, isn't related to the Gen Alpha claims, but it's related to reading just in general. And then if I middle click on that one, let's just drag this over here for a second. So here, this is the actual video essay that I have. Actually, let's open that up. You can see down here, we've got the testing part, the comprehension, etc., etc. These are all different sections of the script, but all of these different sources will be in my source doc, but not necessarily useful inside of a summary article, because a lot of these just say the same thing, and I don't really want to have like 50 references on one thing, and that's what this script is going to be for, which I'm going to write. But before I do any of that, I don't want any of these projects in my inbox, so what I'm going to do is remove them. And how I do that, back to school, let's keep that one up. How I do that is, you can see this one is pinned, so this isn't going to stay anywhere, but this pane is now going to be changed because I've clicked into it. So when I left click on back to school, it changes this one to back to school. And I can see it's done. Let's go to educational science. Let's go down to probably software, because this is a video related to software, and there's all the different bits. Let's scroll down here. You can see I've been doing this today because this is a new way I've decided to organize stuff. It changes, ebbs and flows. So bracket, bracket, there's square brackets, then go back to school, enter, and now this file is linked to this file. It'll disappear from the inbox, and now I've got 39 to go. And I'm just doing the same thing over and over, just putting them into a place in the main file that makes sense to me underneath a heading so I can find it again, or just deleting the project because there was no actual notes in it, it's just an empty file. Right, now that that's all cleared up, I've got the 2 main files open. I've got my video essay over here. I'll close down the properties. So there are the different thumbnails that I was looking at. We've got the main sources. We've then got the article that I want to read here. And now I'm simply going to go through, read through the different sections, and bring relevant points over to the article that I actually want to write to summarize why Generation Alpha can't read. But obviously, life doesn't work like that. You can't just sit down for 10 hours and do loads of research. You have to live. So I've been out, I've done the shopping, I've walked the dog, I've had lunch, I've done the washing up, I've got my hair cut as well. And as you can see, it's all gone. But while I'm doing all of this stuff that isn't research, I'm still thinking and postulating about claims and ideas, which isn't necessarily related to what I'm meant to be thinking about. So I've taken lots of notes down on my phone inside of Morgan, and I'm going to bring them into Obsidian whilst keeping up the pages and show you how my research, even though it is meant to be about Gen Alpha can't read, I'm researching other things at the same time. So this is what I'm doing. So you can see I've got the main articles up, I've got the script, and then I've got the article that I want to write today, but I've also brought in another tab, and this is for orientation's sake. If I come into the main file, you can see Pete's Judo, I can go into the backlinks, and you can see there it is, and that's the file it's linked to. And if I come down, you can see there it is. And what this basically means is that it is in progress. So it's all the way down the bottom. If I open up the outline, you can see I'm in higher education, and Pete Judo, it's a person on YouTube. I've watched them for a while. They're about behavioral science and psychology, but they've been discussing academic fraud and lots of different cases quite a lot recently. So I was having a look and thinking about all the different types of academic fraud they're talking about, and it relates to a recent video that I've done, which is misinformation on YouTube. And you can see there's the video. I've done 2 brackets, misinformation on YouTube. Now, if I middle click on my mouse, it brings up a new tab. Let's drag it over there so you can see. This is the video that I did. It's a 2-hour long video essay that's public on the second channel. And there's loads of other sources and research and ideas. And you can see thing 1, thing 2, lots of different things in there. And I think this video essay, a lot of points in here, you can see here, mistakes and clickbait, etc., will relate this topic that I want to discuss about academic fraud on YouTube. Because even though academics, yes, there is loads of fraudulent cases and people faking data and all this, that, but it's happening on YouTube as well. So what about the expectations of YouTube creators or online creators or journalists? Actually, that makes me think. Right, so what I've just done there is I've just gone and searched and found another essay that I did that I thought, actually, you know what, that relates, and I've renamed it so I can actually find it again. So I couldn't find it with the name that it was, so I've just renamed it to Faulty Journalism, because that's what I started thinking about. You can see I've linked the misinformation video at the top, but now when I go to the backlinks, you can see it's linked inside of the educational channel, and it is not complete. So let's say I've completed that, and I do need to... At this point, I realized I had different files saying the same sorts of things, but I couldn't remember why or what for, so I was going backwards and forwards between them. I don't remember what I did, and I don't really care, because I'm just going to link them all. So we've got misinformation on YouTube, faulty journalism on YouTube, and video journalists in there, because I think all of the points in these projects will relate to this project, so I can just bring them in, which I'll show you how I actually do that in a second. Close that down, close that down, close that down. So I've still got the main files that I actually want to work on today up, but I'm planning this one out sort of at the same time. I'm sort of saying these things are related to this topic. Let's just go into Morgan. What did I note down? So I've actually had lunch. Yes, I've done the dog's meds. Yes, I've done the washing up. You can see I'm actually ahead of schedule. You can see I had a meeting, but that meeting is done. Upcoming, nothing needed. Where am I going? Academic fraud, not a problem. There's no notes in there, so I can tick that one off because that's what I've just done inside of here. School phone guidelines. Oh yeah, that happened on the news. Control O, phone impacting memory. No, UK phone ban. That's the one I want. Let's actually link phone impacting memory into this file because I don't think I've started much work on this file. And that's a template I don't need anymore. So let's just delete all of that and then go delete, heading 1, script. Put a points heading in there as a heading 2. Now, this is related to the UK government guidelines. So I want to UK phone guidelines, phone impacting. I think I've done a video about phones actually. I'm gonna come into here quickly. Phone impacting. Flawed phone laws and banning phones in memory. Okay, let's check that over. I think they may be relevant, but I'm not sure. So that's flawed phone laws and then banning phones in school. That's that project. I feel like I've done some of these. I have, you can see I've got the done status and I got done. I got so many different ways of saying that I've done something. So I have completed that one and that's finished as a project, but I do want to make, so new task, new, let's say, oh, I don't want to make a video. Right, so let's go to templates. Do I have an essay template? No, I don't have an essay template, so let's make one. New note. Essay template. I have no idea what I need in here. I will add a property and say class and then say essay because I know I've got an essay class. That's going to give me that little icon. Now I'm going to go quick add. Do I have an essay quick add in here anywhere? No, I must have deleted it. Right, let's just duplicate one that I've already got, a Danny video one. Let's duplicate that. Drag it up into the little folder. Go to settings, essay, change that, change the template to essay. Ooh, let's get rid of all of that stuff. Don't need that. I want it to go into my projects folder. Yes, good. Trigger. Now, if I get rid of that, go in. Yeah, there we go. Now we've got essays. So what essay was I making? I don't actually remember. Let's go back here. Where was I? Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to make an essay for the phones. So, phone bans in school, because this is going to be an article on the website. So let's just phone bans in school, and then inside of there, let's just drag that over there. Close that down. I don't want that. And then we want list of points and then script. Now I want all of these, I think, so let's just copy and paste that over. I don't need those as tick boxes. I can just have them as bullet points. They were all hotkeys. I realize I'm doing this just as if as if you know what I'm doing. So if I go bullet, you can see Control Enter, Control Dot, so I can toggle the list, or I can toggle it as a checkbox, and they're the hotkeys that I'm using. You can see I'm moving my way around the Obsidian fairly quickly. I don't need any of that information in there. So now I've got that one. I want to work that as somewhat active, I think. I feel like I've completed this one. Let's get rid of that. This one is done. Yes, it is. So I've done that too. Banning in schools. Have I done that one? Let's just have a look in that in the new tab. No, I haven't. So this must be the video that I'm working on. Or I should say, could be working on, because we've got phone guidelines and UK phone ban. But you know what? I could link these together. Let's have a look, see where it's linked. Right, that one is linked down there. Where is the UK phone bans linked? Oh, just underneath it. I could have just opened my eyes and had a little search. So let's drag those up. I think I'm going to merge these together, because I don't have any notes in the UK ban, but I've got some notes in there, but I don't have other sources. So let's just merge them. Right click, merge entire file with UK phone ban. Right, so now let's go back to this file, go down to phone bans in schools. So we've got that article there, and now we've got two of those because I don't need that one. And then we got the phone ban, and in the phone ban we have all that information that was in the banning phones as well. Oh, I think I may have done the banning phones video. Ah, yeah, I did the banning phones video, and then, yes, okay, now I remember. That information is definitely going to be useful, and I can put that into this one. Yes, all good. Right, now let's close down this mess and actually get to what I plan to do today. This video inspired by, to some extent, the Hermitcraft videos where they set out to go do something and end up doing lots of other things before they actually get around to doing the thing that they set out to do, which is just the way life seems to work. So what I'm going to do is now actually go through and script out this article. He says as he thinks about an interesting question related to something else. And because I don't normally record myself actually working, I ended up recording my face so you can't actually see what's going on. So let me quickly explain what I'm doing. You can see I'm towards the end of the document already. It's taken me about 10 minutes, but I'm going through and I'm looking over on the left side. You see as I click, it's highlighting the block. If I click in there, Control C, I come over and then Control V and paste. I'm then just bringing over information that I think is relevant. So Control D gets rid of that block. Now, a little quirk in Obsidian, because of the way Obsidian works, it's completely local, so I have full control over everything that I do. So if I delete everything, it's just like Microsoft Word, so it's not like Cloud. I can work offline, everything is very, very fast. But it does mean the images are saved in my folder, and when I export this, so this is a script, when I export this using something called Pandoc from Markdown to Microsoft Word for my editor to work with, the images aren't in the same file because they're saved somewhere else, and then they're just shown inside of this file. You can see I've got an exclamation mark, which is showing the image, and this one I don't have the exclamation mark, so it's not showing, but I can see it. And to avoid the error and the bug messages and stuff, I just don't show the images inside of a script that I'm going to Pandoc export to Word so I can send to editor, whereas this one I am going to show, so I'm going to embed it, exclamation mark, and show it inside of the script. That's just a small quirk when it comes to exporting things from Obsidian. I could bring the editor into Obsidian, but they don't want to see all of my other references and sources and stuff that's going on, so I just export it with a Control-Shift-P hotkey. For those curious, I have question marks on this heading because I'm not entirely sure I want to put an intelligence section inside of the article, even though it's in the video. The video, I think, makes sense in the story to talk about intelligence because of the narrative about all of the other stuff that's going on, but I'm not sure it would suit this article. And something else I should also mention is that when I'm coming to sections, so you can see teaching through phonics, there's some claims in here about memory, and I've got a research file on memory, so I've just linked the memory file in there, so when I'm coming through and writing, I can middle click, open it up, and then have a look at levels of memory, schema, blah, blah, blah. So it's a quick and easy link to all of my research around that, and then related research through those links. So it was just a quick, oh yeah, that's probably going to be helpful at some point, so I can add those in as I'm bringing the notes across. I'm just going to share a little troubleshooting point. So I'm at a section that's talking about comprehension. I think this is going to be about what is reading, what it means to be proficient or literate at reading. I think I may move this up in the script as well, not sure. But I'm at a section where I'm talking about epistemology, philosophical studies, knowledge, understanding, comprehension, etc. And I know I have lots of notes and research about knowledge, understanding, etc. But I'm not entirely sure what it's called. So looking at the quick switcher, I can type in knowledge and you can see I've got lots of different things about knowledge, but no, you see, sources. No projects. Looking at epistemology, same sort of thing. Epistemology, that's a source, and it's a source article, that's a source. Scamming, that's not epistemology, and there's loads of other things in there. So what I'm going to do is have a look at my file of files, and then Control F, so find knowledge, and see what we've got. So knowledge and understanding is in expertise, so that's something I want to do. It certainly makes sense to be in expertise. Maybe something in thinking and reasoning. We've got understanding. Understanding's down there. Knowledge and understanding again. What's underselling? No. Okay, let's go even further. You, understanding. What understanding do I have in my entire vault? Is there anything here? Oh, actually, maybe it's in... Nope, not in there. Ah, look at that. Maybe it's in here. So what was that? That was in a heading. Becoming an expert. Okay, so what I probably want to do then is have... If we have a look at the headings, well, that... Okay. Ah, meta-ignorance, that's what I was looking for. Right, yes, so there's all the information. So at some point I must have combined the meta-ignorance information with understanding and etc, etc. Yeah, there's the knowledge, there's the understanding. Okay, so I've actually merged those files in the past. I think I want to split those up again. So you've got knowledge and understanding. That's knowledge, that's meta-ignorance. Let's just get rid of that because we don't need that. That's linking to itself, that's kind of pointless. There's obviously some merges that's happened previously. So we're in knowledge, let's go understanding, turn that into a 2. Then wisdom, let's turn that into a 3. Now knowledge and understanding, let's just link to the heading of meta-ignorance. Now when we go in here, we can extract the heading, knowledge and understanding, create, okie dokie. Now let's go to that file. Let's just correct that link, so now that's linking to the meta-ignorance heading. Yes, we can get rid of that heading because now it's the name of the file. And now I want to add the essay template to it. So for those completely lost, let's just give a little bit of background. So I'll go backwards. This file, the Becoming an Expert file, had a heading section which was about knowledge and understanding. What I did is I made the heading section into a file on its own. So now I have a new file called Knowledge and Understanding. And the reason I have this in here is because inside of the original one, let's just double this so we can see what's going on. Inside of this original Becoming an Expert file, there is a heading about meta-ignorance. And I didn't want to lose all this information about meta-ignorance in the relationship between knowledge and understanding. So I keep the link. There's the link. It links back to the heading, so I know it's there. And if I come into the backlinks, let's just reduce this and say understand. It should be in the title. Yeah, knowledge and understanding. So now inside of the Becoming an Expert file, there is a backlinks to knowledge and understanding, so I know it's there. But also, if I go to knowledge and understanding, I know it's linked to Becoming an Expert. So I know it's linked to Becoming an Expert, but not what part, which is why I've got the heading linked, which is the meta-ignorance heading. So now when I close down Becoming an Expert and we come into here, let's just remove that. Knowledge and understanding, we now have that linked. Oh, do I want this to be an essay? No. I think I want this to be a video. And then let's insert the missing fields. I will probably put this one on the Educational Science channel. Yes. Now let's close down that. We don't need that. Now let's come back to where we were reading bracket, bracket, knowledge and understanding. We're good to carry on. Now, while I'm down here at the bottom, you can see I've done something similar to what I was doing inside of this article file. In the video, you can see I had lots of other sections I was planning on doing, but decided actually I should probably do this elsewhere. So I've actually got 4 other potential video projects, video essays that I want to explore and understand some of the nuances and claims behind and do some research in. So I just made them as different files. You can see here, they're just different files with different sources, and all that information is linked at the bottom, so I know where it originally came from. So if I do bring up American education, going to the backlinks, you can see why teachers say Gen Alpha can't read. That's the file, that's the project that we're in here. So I can see where the idea came from and any other related sources in the backlinks, as well as then just separating this information. But this next bit is just going to be me writing, which I can't imagine being very fun, so I'll give you a little time lapse and then maybe do some audio over it. As this is the first time I'm doing this sort of style of video showing you my work process behind the scenes, let me know whether you'd want, I don't know, some background music in this bit, whether you want me talking about something that's interesting, something that happened, something that was noticeable, whether you want me to slow it down, speed it up, or whether you just don't want the time lapse at all and you just want me to cut to the next section. Let me know in the comment section below so I can change that for the next video. Yeah, I said I was going to do some writing, but I actually ended up doing some reading because there were some other there were some articles that I wanted to read through. Because this is going to be on a website and not on a YouTube video, the content needs to be slightly different because obviously it's an article. And I was looking through other articles which I had already written in, like I put in this morning, and I was going through them, and it helps me understand the points that are currently being made on the blog articles in comparison to the YouTube videos, because they are very different things. Some of the blogs are from 2018, 2019, and the videos obviously from 2023, and they're saying very different things, but the claims are still from the same sources. So the same core source, the NAP, I don't even know what you'd call it, report, I guess you'd say, is the main source that all of them are using, despite this conversation being 4, 5, almost 6 years apart in some cases when you look at the most recent videos and the latest blogs. But now I know exactly how I want to shape this article. I have some of the sections. Yes, the intelligence section is going to go because I don't think it's relevant at all. And I'm going to move some of the points around. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So at the moment I have the script article. You see the why they're teachers. This is the video essay. Then I have the main article that I'm going to be writing, this one, and then I'm at the top of that same one, right, with the listen sources. What I've done, just for context, is here. These are people, significant people, I guess you could say, that were writing about this, that were talking about this. And you can see this person is in business, this person is a director of education, and this one's a lecturer at Harvard in Graduate School of Education. This person's also published a book. So these are significant people, and I disagree with some of the thinking behind their suggestions. I'm not saying that they're wrong, I'm just saying I have a different approach, and that's kind of what I want to share in the article. So what I want to do, I don't need that one at the moment, is, or what I'm, not what I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, spit the words out, boy, is, well, I have all of these points, so I'm going to go through these points, and on the right hand side, because I personally work from left to right, so on the left, I'm going to go through these points and create my structure from the main points and just write a rough outline. So I'm just going to reword essentially the claims from the video and the points inside of all of the video that I've made. So the videos online, the video I'm making that will be online, and some of the other research points I'll bring in as a main script outline first, then I'll turn them into something that actually looks like words rather than just points. And so that I know I've done it, I'm actually going to delete it from this point section, so it will be deleted from the top of the file and put into the script section at the bottom of the pile. I'm editing this video as I'm doing it, so I'm recording a clip, then I'm going back and doing a bit of edit, then I do the writing, and then etc, going backwards and forwards. I don't know whether I'm going to do that in future or how I'm going to do this, but at the moment, this project is one day. Maybe you want longer projects? Again, let me know in the comments. Now, because writing an article requires thinking and stopping and starting, and it's different from playing a game. You can't sit there and mine blocks like you would in Minecraft or any other game really, where you sort of just cycle through the same thing over and over. It's a lot of effort to write and think. I take breaks, just for me. I take like a 10-15 minute break, so I went downstairs, played a couple of games of pool. I'll probably watch a video or two as a warm-up to get back into writing. So FYI, I'm coming into the writing after a break. It's also worth mentioning that I speak my words out loud when I'm writing, so I'll write a sentence, then I'll say it, and then I'll rewrite it, and I'll say it, so I make sure that it reads the way that I would speak, so I'm not going to record myself this part, because I'll just be saying the same thing over and over and over. So skip to me when I'm done. So I am definitely not done, but I am going to call it a day because I want to do some other stuff later. So for this article, you can see I've done my introduction, I've done my first heading, and then I've got a next heading. And the way I work is I have a heading 3 or a heading 4 underneath where I'm at, so I can see when I come back to it, okay, this is where I am, because tomorrow I may be doing something else, and then the day after something might happen. I don't know, so I make sure I know where I'm at in the article with all the relevant points underneath. That's how I sort of like bookmark, I guess you could say, where I'm at with the writing process, and all of the rest of this is I don't need it right now. So I'll see you tomorrow. A couple of days later, you can see my here heading is actually way down in the article. I've added lots of different sections and headings, which I'll go through in a second. But because I write 2 or 3, sometimes 4 articles at the same time, yesterday I actually didn't write at all about the 1 in 3 kids can't read article. I wrote 2 other articles, which similar sort of process. So just as a heads up about my research process is that I write multiple articles sort of at the same time. But focusing in on this article, the 1 in 3 can't read, I've brought up the outlines. You see we've got introduction and then all these subheadings, and this is where I'm at the moment. So if I click down there, this is where I'm at. This is the script. So this is where it originally came from. This article originally came from because this is the script, the video script that I'm going to be posting on the second channel. And you see we've got the introduction, which is the same, but the headings are more specific in this article because I actually have points that I want to sort of summarize in each section. So I try and reduce the sections to 400-ish, 500 words for this article. And then inside of the script, because it's visually assisted, I don't need to be that specific about sections. It's just chapters of the video. Keeping that in mind, because this medium, this main medium is text, I have these sections, again, more specified, but I've also reorganized some of the sections. So where I'm looking at reading in tests, I have testing and reading and test together, whereas in the actual script, I have that spread out quite drastically. Because the narrative of the video script is me going through my process of understanding what the online conversation is about, whereas the narrative of the article is me sort of summarizing in some way what I found and then giving my own thoughts and suggestions about it. So even though the topics are the same, the narrative is different, therefore the structures and the headings are in different places. Something else worth noting is when I have a written script, you can see I've got a timestamp of roughly how long that section is going to be. So the introduction takes me about a minute to speak. Whereas in the article, I really don't care how long it takes me to speak, but I'm looking at words instead of time, so it sort of matches, but not really. So simply as I'm going through, I just highlight the words, and then I can look down the bottom and see that's 155 words. Or in this section, if I hover over, that is 88 words. So I'm going to write for another couple of hours maybe. I've already done a couple of hours today, and hopefully I'll be able to get this article somewhat finished, or in a finished state at least. So close, and yet so far. You can see there I am. These are the points that I have left, but I've just found a paper that I think is going to change some of the other points that I've made. And this is what happens a lot when I'm doing any sort of writing around my ideas and my thinking, is I get to the end and I think, oh, actually there's this interesting question. Go search for papers to see what the research says, and then it says something that's either slightly different or can add elements into whatever the article is. So even though I'm going to read the article and probably add the information in towards the end, I won't change too much of the script because I don't want to bulk it out, because then I would just keep writing and writing and writing and writing, and I do want to publish it at some point on the website. So I'm going to read through that probably tomorrow, and I'll see you then. So I am in Zotero, and you can see I've got a green tick. That is me saying that I have completed this paper, and if I go into the paper, I can double click into Zotero and it takes me to the paper. I've done lots of highlights, and if I go all the way, let's go all the way to the top, you can see I've highlighted all in one color. I don't bother changing colors. I know I can, but I don't. And then I export it into Obsidian, which you can see here is the export. So this is just all of the highlights. You can see it's yellow because all of them are yellow, and I can click on the page 2 and it takes me to that highlight in Zotero. So if I do need more context, I can go back. I then have basic information, so URL of where it is, the Zotero URL, the title, and then the year at the top, so that's when it was published. The name of the file is the site key, so when I go back to Zotero and open up the info tab over in the main library, is the site key there, and this is the site key. This is like the ID of the Zotero item. And you can see what I've got on the left is I'm at the top of the article file, and what I'm doing is I'm copying points over. So let's say this point was really good. I would then copy that and then paste it in here. So I'm doing the first highlight in Zotero, bringing it into Obsidian. Then the second one, so I guess the second pass of the highlights inside of the text. And now what I'm going to do is exactly what I did yesterday. I'm going to drag that over there and then go through these points and see which points can either add to, shape, change any of the wording that I've got in the article. And if it just supports a point, then I can just add the reference in, which obviously is synthesis, which is a good practice to have. Now, when I'm writing in Obsidian, I don't have any grammar checker in there. I have a basic spell checker in there, but most of the time it works fine. So once I've written it in Obsidian, then I export it to wherever it's going to go. If it's a video script, then I export it to Word, and then my editor deals with it. But because this is going to WordPress, I'm now going to put it onto WordPress, and that's where I'm going to do all the formatting being the grammar, the spelling, and other things, and that's where I'm going to do another proofread. So I've gone through it. It makes sense to me, but I'm going to do a proofread tomorrow to make sure it still makes sense and I still agree with all of the points I want to make while I'm doing all the formatting stuff. So that's it for this video, and I'll leave a link to the article in the description below.